So then I'm going to stick this smack bang in the middle of these 4, trailer that is. Bad angles. Good job this can sort of sneak round corners a little bit. That is terrible. Wow. So I've got additional pressure of knowing people are watching. Right, that should. But always be careful, sometimes it won't be the first time I actually touch the top of the bale and drag them off. Straps. Where are you? Straps on. Oh, very messy. Side. That's the... Oh, still got a hand. That's really bizarre. Okay, there's more than one way to skin a cat. Those who are not of my generation, it has nothing to do with skinning cats. It means there's more than one way to get a job done. I am not in the habit of skinning cats. I like cats. I don't know where the origin of that particular saying came from, but no cruelty to cats was intended. Ooh. There we go, we have a bale that actually rolled the wrong way. That'll be one of those. And he's done one of his mistakes, but normally... Oh, look at the mess of this field. Just terrible. Oh well. I suppose this is the beauty of this. As I was saying, I know mistakes are horrible. They really are, we all hate them. But in another way, it does prove that... you can do this field so many times, and in the perfect world it would go perfectly every time, where everything turns out exactly the same. But another way, that'd be a bit boring if everything did work like that. Like, I mean, I'm a terror. I've said that. My brain is efficiency, efficiency, efficiency. Always has been. I've got a little bit like the Borg, only without the assimilation bit. Where I always want to do everything in the most efficient that I possibly can. It's sort of one of my driving, motivating forces, which can be a disadvantage at times. But yeah, just look at that mess that we need to clean up. It's different. It's variety. I think it's truthfully what it does help to keep the freshness of things alive, because it isn't exactly the same as the time before. And then just keeping my eye on that. No, I'm a bit too close. I need to a little bit. I'm catching the leaning tower of pizza next to me, so I need to come out, which is actually going to waste a bit of space, I should say. Oh, look at that. Oh, I'm leaning twice. I'm leaning with this one as well. Let's see if we can... I don't know that I've actually done any better with that, but... I have never had the problem where the bale straps don't appear like this before when you're getting close to it. Even if I actually go to the straps, it's just not. Oh, okay. Usually does the green thing where it goes green. It's not actually doing that, but you can if you are close enough. Just click it and it'll do it. It's bizarre. Amazing how when things are different to what you expect. Is this me stopping the time? Could be. No. Okay, let's go and slow progress. But I suppose it's still helpful. Really? What? Oh, I suppose if it's in the course play that he should be going over there. What can I say? Yeah, we have. Let's drop that off while we're here. Let's use our brain and beams. We've got this opportunity to do a bit of a tidy. Let's get rid of that console that takes half the screen. That's just enough. I'm glad we did that well we did, because if we'd have gone round the curve too much more, that would have been one of those bales that I was talking about earlier that would have come out wrong. Okay. Let's do this anyway, but that's hopefully not the work for the GT. Avoid that a little bit. Let's try and see this too much grace there. See if I can do this. Let's get this clean up on this corner done, and then we'll put him straight back on the where he should be on the course. So just thought I'd take this opportunity to clean up as well at the same time. What the workers get away with, or should I just avoid the bail? That might be better. So I need to go straight for a minute. Otherwise the bail's not going to go into the wrapper. Spot on. Spin there and catch that. Let's just clean this area. Gangly nature of this piece of equipment. So once we go through it, to do that really. Trying to let's get this back to where it should be now. Look at that. Clean up. And we'll also fix that in a bit. Is that sugar? It's usually a horsepower thing. Perhaps it's got horsepower on it. It's on the always ignoring my script not to stop slow, not to shut off. Carry on with what it should be doing. Let's go straight for a second. No turns. Like that. button. Always helps if you press the right button. Always. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, some days, although you sort of get automatic with the controls, some days you just get the wrong messages sent to your brain. It's a little bit slower than normal. Oh, I don't know. Good and bad days. Right, clean up this, and then we are going to put it back to where it should be. Ooh, I wonder if it's that juggling. So we go in the middle of that stuff. Ooh, it's not, no. Okay. I've a good mind to finish this field off manually, the old-fashioned way. I know I've then got to do the baler, and I'm sort of defeating it, but I've only got a couple of runs left to do. It just seems silly to get Courseplay to do what I can do myself. It's just the doubling up of the, obviously the workload, but I suppose it's just one of those things. I'm doing some will see. Okay, now let's use Courseplay. It's just, I'm wasting too much time, that's what I'm conscious of. There's at least, maybe 3, but at least 2, so let's let's choose a bit of the field where he's not going to rip, which is going to be over this section here now. Otherwise we're in his way. I don't want to cause him any more hassle. We've seen how good he is at getting caught up by... Oh, where are you going? Got a right good clean up on this field of the bales that haven't been wrapped. Or is that the one you did earlier? Think about it. Yeah, oh no, it is another one, that's 2 now. Oh well. No bale is perfect. I said it had an advantage, but while looking around the field, there's a few that have... I think that's where he's caught them, because normally literally every single bale is flat, so. But say Levy, when you say to someone, it's a bit like the filling of the FET GT platforms. Since the time I've said to you guys, these always do this funny trick of wobbling, where they like literally do a flip. It's not done it, but on every single Let's Play where I use a FET GT platform, it always does it. It's absolutely amazing. Always makes me chuckle, and I'm sure we will at some point see it done, but so far it seems to be trying to make me look like I'm a liar. Right, okay then. Okay, oh. That is not something you can ignore. That's what I've said to you guys before about Courseplay. Amazing mod, but you never ever ignore that, and that is where Courseplay can absolutely go and thrash your game, and you'll get all sorts of weird and wonderful things. Right, we're going to switch him off. I'm going to leave him there though because I want the bales wrapped, so we'll take them to him in a little while. Right, one job left. And now let's get these stacked with the O2 human. Very messy stacking. The Leaning Tower pizza style stacking it. Sort of fixed it a little. Right, okay. Now then, this is my little nudgy trick for the, and of course now I've said that, I know what's going to happen. This is nudge it. Right, when I get a bale that does this, if you get your height of this just right, you can nudge the top and make it roll over. Like that. It's perfectly flat, the same as all the others. Okay then, job's a good one. I must admit, I love watching the Let's Plays of the other content creators. I'm a very big fan of Mr. CDP. He's my absolutely all-time favourite content creator. I love listening to Mr. CDP. I must admit it does annoy me when people are like thrashing him, and I think you're always going to get naysayers who aren't nice. I could listen to Mr. CDP, like a lot of his subscribers have said to him, look, just ignore them and, you know, crack on because we're still going to be here, and that's exactly the way I feel. He seems a very nice gentleman with a heart of gold, done an awful lot as well, but absolutely amazing sort of teacher with the way that he goes on with things. Like myself, firm believer in if you make mistakes, leave them in. I know I'm sure there's some that he hasn't, but I'm sure that's true of us all. But he does. I mean, there's been some spectacular moments on his Six Ashes where the field withering seemed to really upset him. I think it would anybody. He really does sort of take it sort of seriously in that way, and yet not so seriously in other ways. He's a very balanced content creator. Also like Frithgar, not so much for the same reasons, but nevertheless a fantastic content creator. Try and topple. Yeah, so Daggerwin, I'm not gonna slag Daggerwin off. He is a great, and everybody sort of recognises that, but not necessarily my absolute favourite content creator. Mr. CDP is definitely my number one. Frithgar, I do like an awful lot. I think again he's got true experience in proper farming, non-simulator of the real world, which is quite amazing. So he's someone who does know about these things, whereas most of us, like myself, not all, some farmers do play this as well, which is quite an amazing thing in itself, that you'd do this in real life and then choose to do this as a relaxation as well. So, right, let's get that play out the way. It's like, oh, he's got three that they've done wrong. Right, let's pull that out. Now that's something that would be much harder to do with a real bale spike. Although I could have gone the other way, I suppose. also it's quite forgiving, as you can see there, because I wasn't really close enough to that. That was a bit of a lazy pickup. Oh, no, that was not supposed to happen. Oh well, there you go. If I switch that off, I must have done. Just going to fold that. There we go. Right, okay. Let's go get the other one, and then we'll go get the other one, and then we'll have that entire field. I'm just a little bit. I know there's no rain on the horizon, but I think that last rainy one a couple of episodes ago freaked me out a bit. So I'm trying to keep my eye on the weather a little better, so as we don't get a repeat performance of rain stops play. Spikes as well, so I don't suppose that's get that one. It will. Right, okay. Let's go and get number 3, the last one. I like the Volvo. I know it's not as fast as some of the other 24 miles an hour wheel loaders, but again, what can you say for 8,000? It is absolutely phenomenal and almost, well, it is unbeatable. I mean, I know there are other mods, there are very similar ones. I know Mr. CP showed them, I'm not sure if it was Volvo actually. No, it was a Massey Ferguson, I think, on one of his Let's Plays. Yeah. It's not that big, it is. Wow. Sorry about the not quite so realistic grab of that. There's a lot of juggling going on today. I've got a program running on the back of my PC that seems to be grabs it automatically, or whether we need to. Yeah, spot on. Right, so we can turn that off, leave that to wrap, and let's crack on. Sure, but I think this session is going to be longer than normal, so I might have to split this one. I have noticed some of my sessions are an hour and an hour and 20 minutes. I should have split them really, and I will. It's again, new content creator, learning a new set of rules. Yeah, so if you just bear with me, I'm hopefully going to learn to be better. That's better. Spinning that around. Brilliant. Right, I'm going to shift this. I actually have 4 there, so that's good enough. Let's just go backwards a touch. Yeah, I think we'll get one more it's hard to say. Depth perception when you're looking in front of this image isn't quite something that always works. So, imprecise science in this game, I think, a bit of guessing as well. Let's put down the torch so I can get my third one. That's not been able to get on the trailer. Right, okay. A bit of rain, so I've got time this field up here. It's a bit of a surprising sometimes. You think you've got your angles alright and then you still got to do a leaning tower pizza. If you don't get it spot on, it makes such a mess on the trailer, and it just gets worse and worse. Like anything, it's not terrible. I'm still within my straps, but it's not pretty. But I suppose that's what you get with manual bail handling when it's me at the helm. Like I say, I have seen some spectacular bailing. Daggerwing's done some excellent ones, as has his I'm not trying to pick it up, honest. I don't think I'm going to get 2 more on. I'm going to get 1 more because I've wasted space at that end. Perhaps could have done. Yeah, maybe between those two. Although looking at the tension straps, I don't truly think it was designed for much more. So I don't think it was probably designed for. How many have we got on there? 3, 6, 9, 18. So we're going to have 21, 24. For a little trailer like that is absolutely amazing. I'm sure it was only designed for about 12, but hey ho. And this, I also want to show this for the other reason. I want to show the fact the silage swap happens not just on that trailer, although this is a test as well, because I've always said, I'm not sure if this is a base game thing, I had the Animal Clean mod. I always wondered, was that the culprit, was that the Clash that actually did something more as well? So this is a true test to see whether it's going to go back to how things should be. I say, with only playing with the mods that I play with, I have no idea if this works on everybody's game or whether it is just a mod clash that somehow causes my grass to turn into silage before it should. Most of the time, I won't say all, there are sometimes it catches you out because of just the nature of the design, which of course, as I keep saying, game rules, game mechanics, they can be a blessing and a curse in different situations. Different mods handle things in different ways. In some situations they're better, and in other situations they're worse. It's just part of the game, that's it. Right, so then. I may have got another set of bales on if I'd have been really ultra, but it is difficult really to get it that good, so I'd sooner careful. But the first time I've actually left the big bag handler too close and strapped that down tried to go away and pulled half the trailer with me. Yeah, so we'll have tried to avoid that, definitely. Right, let's get that third one, because that will be line number 3. Let's just go in the tractor and release that bale. That's messy. Oh dear, yeah. Still a leaning tower pizza. Still didn't manage to do it. That's the only bad thing, obviously, unless, well, you can drop them down and then prod them with the, but because I've got that extra space, I'm not going to be that faffy, otherwise you guys will be here forever. That's what I was saying about time. Manual bale handling is a little bit more imprecise than obviously auto load, and because we are trying to achieve smoothness, I don't want to drag you guys tortuously through too much of this. I just wanted to show you that I can do this, but it's just the time element and the smoothness, to be honest. Doesn't take too much longer if you've got the right equipment, but again, there is a time element to it. Obviously, running around the field with the auto loads, obviously, just by design, are absolutely amazing in so much as they do a cracking job of just grabbing them. Which, just been watching one of Frithgar's Let's Play where some of the subscribers suggested speeding the time up to times 30 while using an auto bale loader to simulate the reality of the fact that it would take time, and I thought that was an excellent idea, to be honest. Very good idea, one that perhaps we all ought to try to do, but I know it's down to the individual, but I did think it was a cracking idea. Because as I said, it is, let's face it, this is a game, and no matter how much people whinge and whine about things, there is a set of game mechanics involved, right, which are out of our control. Totally out of our control. Right, I'm going to go and get the adjuvancer. We'll do one job at a time. Get that over here. We'll grab all of the bales that we've got at present. And then we'll just finish this field. And when we finish this field, that's what we're going to call it a day, because this has got to be a mega recording session. Say that was the most sensible place, but we'll leave in the field as we pass, just in case I did leave it on the sidelines, somewhat online. Especially with not having a shed, although I'm a terror anyway. I've got to admit, I'm a bit of a, when I say efficiency, it doesn't, I'm not a tidy freak. That does not bother me in the slightest. It's efficiency of doing things, but as for the efficiency of how things look, we all have our moments, but it doesn't bother me like Mr. CDP or even Frithgar, where it drives him crazy and he's got to go and correct it because it's pulling on him. I think we all get moments like that, as I say, but yeah, it doesn't bother me unduly. I can put up with an awful lot of mess. Just efficiency of using things and doing things. Just check that. Just remember, although not the tanker, which is so mega long, this is still a long vehicle. It's not quite such a problem with it being the swivel axle. It does spin round and follow you so very well. Just remember the other salmon needs a top up as well. It's getting on fuel. Right. Let's get ready to swing in and out. Right, this is in auto load already, so let's just grab these an awful lot quicker than if we were doing manually. Truthfully though, to show the silage, I won't call it a trick. It is. I say I discovered it by accident. There's no trickery involved, unless it is a mod clash, as I say. That's another matter. But right, let's get this tidy up done. Let's drop that on. I love this tractor. It really is nice, actually. I have loaded this set a long time ago. The one thing that was a bit was the control groups. That's a bit faffy. It's a bit like the Sintrack, one of my favourite tractors, but drives me crazy. It's a bit like there's another tractor with so many control groups. Mr. CDP did it in one of his mod reviews, and it is a fantastic mod. You've got cranes that you can add on to it and everything. It's going through the control groups, the different mechanisms. It's just so like that, going through all of you. Getting back to your implements, it's... No, it was down already. Right, smashing. Okay, let's get cracking. Got a little tiny bit of fuel up there. Let's get that in first. And then we'll do that last proper run. We all have a little touch of that where, well, I suppose it's a waste as well, I always think, in this situation. But I mean, I wouldn't chase the field off at those little spots over there. That would drive me crazy. There's just not enough to warrant the waste of fuel going over to that tiny bit, which is probably worth 50 pence. It's just false economy. But we all do get moments where we do that, all of us. But some Let's Players, some content creators do seem to. It drives them terribly crazy. Mr. CDP is always talking about his OCD, and again, it's the degree of that. I think everyone, we talk about OCD, I think everyone's got that. I've got a bit of that in so much as always been this way. If I go in someone's house and I see a picture that's skew-iffed, I get this absolute, I'm nearly there now, so I'm there as I grab it now, but get that impulse to go and touch it, an almost irresistible impulse to try to fix it because it's not right. So we have all got a bit of that in us. Right, that's the last bale then. Okay, let's get this all folded up. Switch that off, lift it, and fold it. Let's spin that around and move that on the edge here. And then we'll just use the Follow Me mod and pick that last couple of bales up that's on the field. grab that last bale then. How many did we actually do? We've got 8 on this, and did I say 24? 43. Easy. Even though we've actually perfectly... goodness, the growth must have been slightly different, because we've got 36, 39 on the berry, and have never ever touched that since. Whether we were partially through the next growth cycle, and it does work like that, but let's get this. Let's put this in Volvo behind on colony. Of course, I made a mistake switching the engine off. Wow. Such, I know you can't have everything, and in so many ways this is such a fantastic mod, so I am not going to knock the mod at all. It is absolutely amazing. Just remember that only does 60 miles an hour and slow accordingly. Drop these off the BJ and leave them, because at the minute they are grass, and then we will do a test to see if it was the Animal King mod, or whether it still is just a base game or a known thing that a lot of people probably know. Stick to 16. Okay. Very rarely use that. I must admit, I'm not a. Always tend to use a trigger. It's very bad. It's amazing how we've all got our good and bad habits, even if you love efficiency. It's still, yeah, we've all got our strengths and weaknesses, things we do and things we don't do. The only thing about this BJ is literally just how tight this corner is. It's good practice though. Driving skills. Definitely need plenty of practice to make perfect. Should be This is where the little Sammy really does come into its own. I think I was going into the building there. Have a look. See if I can level. Yeah, that's not bad at all. I did think that on the auto loads you can't actually see. Still, you know, you've just seen me do that. So this is grass. Let's do this scientific test right now. So we're at 940, speed 1. Let's save the game. Yeah, let's do this properly.